I'm so excited. I didn't even introduce her right a second ago. Wendy Williams is here.
Thank you.
You've been on this side.
Yeah.
How was it for you?
I liked radio. I liked radio a lot. I mean, I went to college. I don't know how other people got into radio, but I wanted to be a radio personality since I was in 6th grade.
Wow.
Either a news personality or radio personality. And I chose a school that had a pretty decent college radio station and other influences around. I went to school in Boston and graduated from Northeastern University. And this is what I wanted to do. And I studied it and it worked out. You know, nowadays people, fall off of the back of a promotional van and they become radio personalities. And that's all fine and that's all good. But for me, I knew. Yeah. And I didn't want to, once I got into which one was it going to be, a news broadcaster or a radio personality, I said, I don't think I can rise to the occasion of being a news broadcaster.
I think you could.
24. Well, now I could. In 2015, newscasters are ratchet. Many of them. Many of them. Well, do you know what I mean? I mean, if you look behind the scenes, there are a lot of them doing a lot of things, and it's not the same.
It's not,
I grew up, as a
years
child.
ago it was different.
Of the 70s. And so as a child of the 70s, newscasters, you had to have a sensible haircut.
Yep.
Your nails had to be a particular length.
Yep.
You certainly couldn't wear red, pink, or blue nails.
Yep.
Or have pink tips in your hair.
And you were judged differently because of you being African American.
A lot differently.
Yeah.
And so I said, no, I don't. I think that I might be too much of a good time in my personal life to actually be a newscaster in my real life.
Yeah. And for those of you that don't know, we've made the announcement, and the show for tonight has been canceled.
Yeah, at the office.
You bummed about that?
Yeah, I am. But, even more bummed at the reason.
Yeah.
I mean, just, it's horrible what's going on in the country with the police versus civilians. Last night when we landed in Memphis, I did see, the Sea of Blue organizing, and, there was like a cloud, like I was telling you last hour, over the city. And then the newscast, they spent 1 hour talking about you all's weather. And it's weird because, in New York, we're not used to hearing the rain part other than Superstorm Sandy. That was the one hiccup. Normally it's snow, snow, snow. But even then, it's a different kind of delivery. I mean, this, the entire map of, Memphis and parts of Tennessee red.
Yeah.
It
was crazy yesterday.
And every channel that you changed, exactly.
When you came to the station, did you see any fallen trees?
I didn't see any fallen trees.
They're all over the place.
But we just missed a lot of rain last night before we landed, and we're trying to get out to get to Dallas because I have a show tonight in Dallas before the second wave comes in. So between the funeral and the weather, it's just not right to be telling jokes. And laughing along.
It is an interesting time in the city of Memphis. Yeah. Did you hear about it maybe coming in? Because it it's for us. I mean, it's been a pretty big topic.
No, you know what we heard about? I heard that it was raining as we were landing. The captain said, well, it rained really hard earlier. Yeah. And so the roads are really slick, so you all be careful out there. And that's it. Yeah. In Dallas.
It was a quick storm. I mean, that storm came through. It did some damage, and it just kind of left.
Well, one of our business partners, though, wasn't able to land last night.
Wow.
Like, we landed, my husband and I, we landed like 7 o'clock. Business partner was supposed to come in like 10 o'clock. And he flew from Dallas and hovered in the air over Memphis for about 2 hours, and then they flew him back to Dallas.
Wow. This is probably one of my dreams coming true. Talking to you.
Oh, thanks.
And I have been in the industry for almost 30 years, and in that time, I've seen and heard about Wendy Williams. I think you've got to be, crazy if you have been in the industry any length of time and have not heard about Wendy Williams. But I always heard about you in radio, and I thought, wow, this woman is something. You were like, for me, I mean, Tom Joyner, I adore him, and Bobby OJ, adore him, but you're like the female version of the radio DJ. I think every female DJ wants to be, for me.
I like to hear that. I hear that a lot. And you know what, it's actually very weird to me, because normally people don't uphold you until you're near dead or over 75. Which is not near dead, but not relevant is what I'm saying. Right. And the idea that, you know, a lot of, you know, you young ladies in radio, black ones, white ones, urban radio, top 40 radio, rock and roll radio. You know, I travel the country promoting the talk show, not just, you know, this right here. I'm just promoting the comedy right now, but I travel the country. It's very, very flattering. Because I feel like, wow, I get accolades before I'm dead, you know, or Wendy, get Alzheimer's. Like I hear you.
You are the one, I think, that you paved the way, I think, for a lot of us to do some of the radio that we're doing now. You did stuff that we were scared to do.
Well, I was never the quiet storm girl, and that's the one thing. And that's the one thing I said about being. You know, in radio, and I grew up in the New York tri-state area, so all my influences in media were New York. And unfortunately, all the girls on the radio in New York at the time of me growing up, being a young Wendy in 6th grade planning this, they all talk like this on the quiet storm. I was like, oh hell no, I can't do that radio. Yeah. And I also said, I don't want to stay a man's sidekick. If that's who I have to step on in order to get my own show, though, then I will get in there and step on this man who thinks he's going to be my boss. You know, where everyone listening, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a man who leads a show, and then the woman sits side saddle, and the woman never gets the accolades. The man always gets everything, and there's nothing wrong with that. But my personality has just always been
big, larger than life,
even being a little girl. And so, yeah, my influence to not be the sidekick was a woman named Carol Ford, who was on afternoons in New York. And Carol actually led a morning show with a man, Mike Love. And after Carol, then I guess it was me. But for me, it was Carol Ford. Yeah. The other girls were, you know, either they were midday girls, overnight girls, or the quiet storm girls. They were never, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, there were a lot of girls like that. And those were the girls that we were told to be like. Yeah. And then there was you.
Yeah.
And I think quietly, many of us wanted to be you. And when we come to markets and we can be show our personalities and be a little more, or be bigger, a little bigger than life. Yeah. It's like refreshing. And it's like, man, we would probably not be able to do that if it weren't for you.
Well, let me tell you, I've got a lot of whip burns on my behind for doing that. I've been suspended without pay for many times. I have been told by male bosses and female bosses that I am not the one and I need to go sit down someplace. Wow. But, you know, I've always been one to buck the system. And you know, I guess that's what's led to, you know, me being on now. I mean, Tom and I stand side by side in the National Radio Hall of Fame. That's a big deal. It is. Not just for black, but it's a big deal for women. And that was the cherry on top of my whole radio career, because they have these halls of fame all over, but there's only one real one. Yeah. With the Lone Ranger, Jack Benny, Rush Parr, you know, not Rush Parr, the fat one. Rush Limbaugh, who's not so fat anymore. And you know, so that's a big deal. Yeah. To be alive and get that. And I had some items from the talk show inducted into the Smithsonian, which normally that only happens when you're dead. Yes. Or gone. Big. That's talking about the Smithsonian's in D.C. That's where Dorothy's Ruby Red Slippers are, and Archie Bunker's chair from All in the Family, and the first covered wagon.
And will you be in the African American Hall of Fame that's there, or that's being? Well, yes, there now.
I haven't been invited. I'm sure I'm in the regular one.
I'm sure you will.
I don't know
because it's a part of the Smithsonian. Well, I think the new one that's being Alliance. I want to say is his name, but anyway, I'll find his name and I'll tell you who he is. But he's a wonderful man. I've been to D.C., met him, actually went to see the museum, and it is the African American Museum, and it is the history. They're not saying that it's African American history; it's American.
But you know what? The Smithsonian is all about chalking itself with things that have shaped America. Yeah. And they didn't tell me about an African American. I didn't know that part, and I've been to the Smithsonian before. New. But the reason that they invited me, because you don't just call them up and say, "Hey, I want you." They invite you. Yeah. They invited me. I'm the first talk show host to have something in the Smithsonian, which I found that to be phenomenal.
That is like,
wait, you don't have Johnny Carson's desk? Yeah. Yes, they do have his daytime desk. I'm the first daytime talk show host. I was like, you don't have Phil Donahue's stick mic, Sally Jesse Raphael's glasses. They have my wig. They have a wig. They have a pair of Louboutins, and a dress, and the picture that shows when I wore it, which was the first day of the show ever hitting the air. I had all that stuff at home in storage at my house, so I sent it to the Smithsonian. And my glittery mic from when I do Ask Wendy. I still haven't been down there to see the stuff because it's like cleaning out your attic. Like, you know, before you put new stuff in the main part of your house, you're going to clean out the main part of your house and then go up to the attic and get, it's just a mess. But, I'm
excited. I will go visit that when I go back because it is my desire to go back to see the African American Museum that's going to be there and to get to see your exhibit at the Smithsonian. That is phenomenal.
Yeah. That happened like 2 seasons ago. Thanks everybody for watching the talk show too. You know, the show is, I never even had enough time to dream about having a talk show. It kind of happened.
Do you sometimes feel like you're just walking and things are just happening and you're just kind of in the moment?
Yes. I don't like to, not even in the moment, thinking about the next moment.
Yeah.
To me, you know, which is not really good. You have to enjoy the moment that you're in.
Yeah.
But we're about to go into our 7th season of the show. And we just had an excellent, you know, this past season. You know, a lot of great things have been happening as a result of the talk show. Yeah. Like, I've been fortunate enough to be able to do this comedy tour.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I'm on right now. And produce a few things. I have a project coming out on the ID channel.
Oh, wow.
In the fall. Do you watch the ID channel?
I don't. I didn't even know
it's some investigation discovery. It's where everybody ends up dead. They do 1 hour, they do half-hour shows and 1 hour shows, and there's no infomercials, and everyone always ends up dead. Anyway, mine's called Death by Gossip, and it's about local happenings, like, and I'm the narrator, so it'd be Storm, the popular DJ in Memphis, 2015. She's married. She's got 3 children. Life is perfect.
Take me off that show. Take me off that show.
In walks Hector.
Oh, God.
The new station owner. Hector is also married with 5 kids. Then you all start having an affair. The whole town's talking, and somebody ends up dead.
I don't even like Hector. I will never date Hector.
And I do all the narrating.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. You make me proud to be a woman.
Thanks.
You really do. And I'm not saying that. I'm not trying to.
Well, if you ever get to New York, the tickets to the show are free. People think that you charge. No, they charge. No, they don't charge for any shows, as a matter of fact. But in LA, they do pay you to sit in the audience. $50.
Really?
Mm-hmm. There's some people who make a part-time job of, you know, going around to talk shows in LA because, you know, you can make your money and buy some shoes.
My son's moving there. I got to tell him about that.
No, but the tickets are free. And if you're familiar with New York, we are in the Chelsea section of Manhattan. And, you know, it's fun.
That would be a great vacation to go to D.C. And I've done that before, actually. Go to D.C. then New York. I did that one time.
Yeah.
Baltimore, D.C., New York. And just kind of spent 2 or 3 days in both places and saw the
Are you from Baltimore?
I'm not. I mean, I just went up there to visit one time. I've always wanted to go to New York. I finally went to New York. And
did you like it?
I loved it. Love.
Yeah.
Love.
I love New York. I love to travel around. But honestly, there's no place like the tri-state.
Yes.
New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. I don't know that much about Connecticut, but I'll say New York and New Jersey.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate you.
Again, everyone, the Orpheum Theater is canceled tonight. And, you know, and I apologize, but, you know, between what's going on with the police and what's going on with the weather, it just didn't seem like the time to come in and tell my stories and make you laugh.
But you'll come back.
Yes, and make you laugh when you're ready.
When there are happier times in the city of Memphis. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Storm.
Wendy Williams! Whoop whoop! Okay, I'm going to calm down now. All right, the What's on Your Mind line is next. I'm Stormy getting out of here. We will see you. I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. And I don't know what tomorrow holds, but I do know who holds tomorrow. And you're listening to WDIA. That good?
That's good.